Would you like to decorate your home for Christmas with Pottery Barn decor? But then you look at the price tags and you reevaluate your decision. Well, today we are going to get the Pottery Barn look for hundreds less. The first item that we are going to dupe from the Pottery Barn website is a pillow. I am in desperate need of some Christmas pillows, so we are definitely going to do one of those today. Now, I love this Snowflake pillow. It's the right color tone. It's white and silver, and look at those snowflakes. Aren't those fabulous? They are embroidered on there and they are so detailed. For just one 18-inch pillow, it's going to cost you $89.95, which is too pricey for us. So we're going to recreate it for much, much less. So the first thing we need is, of course, a pillow covering. And I love buying my pillow coverings at either Hobby Lobby or IKEA. They both have very affordable options there. So I picked up mine at Hobby Lobby. Now, I certainly do not know how to embroider, and I do not have an embroidery machine. So we've got to come up with a different way to get those snowflakes. Well, I just happened to be out shopping at Ross the other day, and I was in the tablecloth and hand towel section, and I found a set of 2 hand towels. One of them had some beautiful snowflakes on it. The snowflakes have beads and sequins, and they're 3D, which I think is so pretty. They're also the perfect size, so I snagged this set of kitchen hand towels. I'm going to cut my snowflakes out into individual snowflakes because right now, as they're on the hand towel, they're all clumped together, and we want to be able to spread those out over the surface of our pillow covering. We are going to be using some heat and bond to fuse our snowflakes to our pillow covering. There are 2 sides to this heat and bond. There's a bumpy textured side, and then there's a side that has paper on it. What we're gonna do is flip our kitchen towel over, and then I'm going to take the bumpy side and I'm going to place that on top of the fabric. Then I got my iron. I heated the iron to a medium-high heat, and then I placed it over the heat and bond. I'm going to move my iron slowly over the surface of the heat and bond. I'm staying in one place for about 8 seconds. You want to make sure that the entire section of the heat and bond has been sufficiently heated up. That way it will bond to your fabric. At this point, your fabric will be really stiff, so you can get some fabric scissors out and cut out whatever shape you want. So what I'm gonna do is just cut out around these snowflakes. I'm cutting very close to the snowflakes. I'm also cutting into all of the intricate designs. The more intricately we can cut, the better the end result will be. So I simply just cut around each of these 4 individual snowflakes. This did not take me very long, and I love that we have some snowflakes that are so detailed, and we were able to get them for just a few dollars. Now that I have my individual snowflakes, I'm going to remove the paper from the back of the heat and bond, and then I'm going to arrange my snowflakes over the surface of the pillow covering. Now, I'm not sure that if I put my iron over all of that detail, all those sequins and beads, if they're gonna melt. So to err on the side of caution, what I'm going to do is take some of that leftover hand towel and I'm going to place it over my snowflakes, and then I'm going to put the iron over the top. This will prevent my embellishments from melting. Once again, I'm moving my iron across the surface of the snowflakes. Again, I'm leaving them in place for about 8 seconds. This will melt the heat and bond underneath, and it will fuse our snowflakes to the pillow covering. Once all 4 of my snowflakes had been sufficiently heated up, I remove the iron and the fabric, and now you can see that these snowflakes are permanently attached to the pillow covering. I wish I had more snowflakes to add to our pillow covering, but they only had 1 set of those snowflake hand towels, and the second hand towel was just this plain white. So I need to come up with an alternative to go around the border of our pillow covering. Now, this is where we're going to take a couple of liberties. We're going to get a little creative, and what we're going to do is add some ribbon around the outside of our pillow covering. I have this beautiful silver and white jacquard ribbon that I purchased on the Amazon haul website. You guys know I love that website. The detailing on this ribbon is stunning. This is also going to coordinate so perfectly with our snowflakes because our snowflakes are silver and white, and this ribbon is silver and white as well. and this was so affordable. 10 yards of this ribbon was only a couple of bucks. So this is definitely in the budget. Now what I'm going to do is cut 4 segments that are the same size. And instead of having blunt ends where the ribbons intersect, what I like to do is cut mine at a 45-degree angle. Let me show you a little hack that I use that's fantastic for getting a 45-degree angle where they actually line up nicely. What I do is I overlap the ends of the ribbon so that they line up perfectly, and then right at the corner I'm going to cut diagonally. And check that out, now our corners line up. So I repeated this process of cutting these 45-degree angles at the 4 intersections where the ribbons will meet. Instead of using the heat and bond to attach our ribbons to the pillow covering, we're going to be using some fabric glue. Now everything that I'm doing today is interchangeable. You can use the fabric glue for the snowflakes, you can use the heat and bond for the ribbon, whatever works best for you. So what I'm going to do is take this fabric glue and I'm going to place it on the back of the ribbon, and then I'm going to press it to the pillow covering. I'm adding the fabric glue all the way down the length of the ribbon. You want to make sure that you have enough fabric glue on the ribbon so that it adheres well to the pillow covering. If there's any spaces that you skip that don't have the fabric glue on it, it will gap. Once the glue had been added to all 4 segments of the ribbon and it had been pressed firmly to the pillow covering, I let it dry for 5 hours. And the final step is just to fill our pillow covering with a down pillow insert. I definitely prefer down pillow inserts over cotton poly inserts because you can shape them much easier. And we are completely done with our pillow covering. Look at how stunning this looks. Those snowflakes are so detailed. I love the pearls and the beads and the sequins. They definitely feel very Christmassy. And I love that the silver on the snowflakes coordinates beautifully with the silver that's on our jacquard ribbon. This was such an easy and clever way to get some snowflakes, and it only cost me a couple of dollars. And I have an extra hand towel, so that's definitely a bonus. I got some beautiful snowflakes and a kitchen hand towel. The silver snowflakes and jacquard ribbon are such an elegant touch. And we've got some fancy stuff going on in this house for Christmas, so we've got to make sure that the pillows match that aesthetic. So let's look back and quickly remember how much our Pottery Barn pillow covering costs. It was $89.95. After calculating all the costs that went into creating our stunning snowflake pillow covering, the grand total was... That is a huge savings, and I actually like mine better because I think that our snowflakes are fancier and I love the addition of the ribbon. I'm going to put our pillow next to the Pottery Barn pillows so you can see the similarities and differences between them. If you want to create some beautiful pillow coverings that coordinate with your specific design style for Christmas, this was so easy. You can use affordable pillow coverings and dish towels to create them. Our next Pottery Barn dupe is this faux frosted pine floral arrangement. Look at how beautiful this is. I love the shape of it and the design. The red berries and all those pine branches are so beautiful. And of course, we love candles during Christmas time. What's not perfect is the price of this floral arrangement. It's $129. And I know that we can do much better. So the first thing that we're going to need is some similar botanicals. So I headed over to Michael's. All of their winter greenery was 40% off, which is fantastic. So I picked up all kinds of frosted pine branches in a variety of different sizes. Some had pine cones on them. I just picked up some that looked similar to our inspiration piece. And another item that we're going to be using in our arrangement is a garland that I got at Hobby Lobby. It has these pretty frosted leaves on it and some white berries. It was only $13.99, and everything right now in the Christmas section at Hobby Lobby is 50% off, so we were able to pick that up very affordably. The next thing that we need is some floral foam, and you guys know how I feel about reusing floral foam. You already have, do it. Even if it's cut at weird shapes, it doesn't matter. You can glue it together to create one long shape, which is what we're going to do. So I got 4 segments of floral foam that I already had, and yes, it's got holes in it, and that's totally fine. The next thing we need is some kind of a container to hold our floral arrangement. But because this is very low to the table, we didn't want to get a container that had some high sides. So I just rummaged through all of my dishware, and I happened to come across this oval dish that was such a great size, and because it is long and slender, it's going to be perfect. What we do not want to do is damage this dish in any way, so I'm going to share a little hack of how we can keep this dish intact. What I'm going to do is get some blue painter's tape, and I'm going to run a line of this blue painter's tape down the center of our platter. Then I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm going to add hot glue to the top of the blue painter's tape. Then I'm going to get my block of floral foam and press that into the hot glue. Then I added more hot glue on top of the blue painter's tape and took more of my floral foam and pressed it into the hot glue. I continued to add the hot glue to the blue painter's tape and then press my floral foam into the hot glue. I repeated this process with all 4 of my floral foam blocks. By using this technique, we preserve our dish because at the end of the holiday season, all I need to do is remove that blue painter's tape and our dish is as good as new. Well, the next thing that we need to add to our floral arrangement is some vases. On the Pottery Barn Inspiration Floral Arrangement, you can see they've got some like candle holders, cylindrical candle holders. Well, they definitely reminded me of those vases that you can get at the Dollar Tree. So that's what I did. I just picked up 2 of these glass vases from the Dollar Tree. I added some hot glue to the top of the floral foam, and then I pressed the first glass vase into the hot glue. Then I added more hot glue to the other side of the floral foam and pressed my second vase into the hot glue. Now we can start adding all of our winter botanicals to our floral arrangement. I'm going to start off with the largest stems first. These have very long stems, but guess what? Our floral foam is really long too. So I took that stem and I pressed it all the way through the 4 blocks of floral foam until these frosty branches were secured to the floral foam. Then I repeated the process with my second large pine branch. I pressed the stem into the floral foam. Then I got some frosty branches and I bent the stem and wrapped it around the vase. That way I don't have to cut the stems. I did this with both of my frosty pine branches, and then I just began to fill this floral foam with all kinds of the winter greenery. I've got frosted leaves, I've got some pine cones, and then I took my garland that I purchased at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to cut this garland into individual segments. So I got out my clippers and I clipped a few segments and added those to the floral foam. These pieces are going to fill up our arrangement. It's also going to add those berries that we definitely need in our arrangement. Once I had several of these frosted leaf and berry segments attached to the floral foam, I thought it would be so fun to add some lamb's ear. Now I know this is not a typical Christmas botanical, but I loved that light green color and it has some texture on it. So I added a few leaves of lamb's ear to the center. And then to tie in my floral arrangement with the rest of all the winter greenery that we have in this space, I'm going to be using these gold champagne frosted leaves. I placed a few of them in the arrangement. All of our botanicals are in place, and what do you think? Doesn't it look fantastic? Just like our pillow covering, I'm going to take a few creative liberties and add some different items to our floral arrangement. I have these pretty gold birds. I purchased these ornaments at Ross for only $5.99 for this entire package. So what I'm going to do is just clip these pretty birds onto our arrangement. I'm going to display all 4 of these birds in our arrangement. It was easy to just clip these little birds onto the branches. These birds are a beautiful touch. It definitely makes it stand out. It's unique and gives it an upscale design. And then the last step is just to add some battery operated candles to our Dollar Tree vases. And that's it. We are completely done creating our stunning Pottery Barn knockoff floral arrangement. Now I definitely customized this floral arrangement to my specific taste. I did not add all the red berries. I swapped those out for the white berries. And of course, we have our pretty little birds, which I love. I think the birds just take it over the top. I definitely used our Pottery Barn floral arrangement as inspiration, but then I was able to customize it so it fit in with what I needed and what I wanted in my space for Christmas. Plus, our arrangement is so much bigger than the Pottery Barn arrangement. I'm going to place this arrangement in the center of my breakfast table. This little area is one of the final places that needs decorating in this entire space, and this floral arrangement is perfect. So now let's take a quick look back and remember how much our Pottery Barn floral arrangement was. It was $129 after calculating the costs that went into creating my stunning floral arrangement. The total was, which is a good savings. It's not a huge savings, but that's because I spent a decent amount of money on all of those winter botanicals, which I think was a good deal. So we did spend a little bit more, but I think that our arrangement is still fantastic. We did save some money and we were able to create a beautiful custom floral arrangement. Let's create a beautiful winter centerpiece on our breakfast table. The first thing we need is a runner. I have this vinyl runner. I love using vinyl runners because you can spill on them and it's not a problem. You can just wipe it up. I actually have a similar runner on my kitchen island, so these two runners are going to coordinate together beautifully. I purchase mine at either Ross or Home Goods. Whenever I see them there, I usually just pick up one because they're not that expensive. So that's going to go right there in the center. Next, we're going to take our floral arrangement and we're going to place it. Look at how big that is. Beautiful, big and beautiful. It's going to go right in the center of our runner. And then, because our arrangement is low and flat, we need to add some height on either side. And I also wanted to add some ginger jars because we have some ginger jars on the countertop in the kitchen. So adding some white ginger jars in here will definitely tie those pieces together. Now we don't want to leave our ginger jars plain, so what I did was I got some mini wreaths that I purchased at Hobby Lobby, and I added some ribbon to the center, and then I took some little pearls and I hot glued those to the wreath so that they look just like this. Now all I need to do is just put it right there on my ginger jar and then just pop the lid right back on. And the lid itself will hold our ribbon and our wreath in place. So I'm going to place one of these white ginger jars on either side of the arrangement. This floral arrangement right here on our breakfast table is the final touch that we needed to complete this entire room transformation. The kitchen is completely decorated and ready for Christmas. The family room is completely decorated and ready for Christmas. We've got the buffet. We've got the beautiful trellis Christmas trees in the niches next to the TV. We've got the beautiful garland on the fireplace. Of course, we've got our Christmas tree masterpiece. And now we have this beautiful floral arrangement that ties everything together. So now that this entire space is decorated, we can move on to the rest of the house and start decorating there. We've got so many fun things coming up. On Monday, I'm going to completely transform my foyer. I have a life-size Santa. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed so you won't miss out on that video. And I am posting videos on Mondays and Thursdays. That way you have plenty of decorating inspiration. So when you start decorating your home for Christmas, you have plenty of ideas to choose from. Our next dupe is actually not from the Pottery Barn website. I did look at their plates and bowls and dishes on their website, but they were all a little too vibrant for what I was going for. They're not really fitting in with my color scheme, which of course, as you guys know, is gold, silver, white creams, and the theme is a gilded glory with a hint of Art Deco. So I needed a plate that was going to reflect that color scheme and theme. I actually found a beautiful Lenox plate that had a gold rim around the outside and a smaller one on the inside, and a beautiful gold Christmas tree on the inside. Now this is a plate that is from replacements.com. I'm guessing it's a website where if you broke a plate or lost a plate, you can get a replacement from this website. But if you want to replace your salad plate, it's going to cost you $129.95, which is so expensive, and we do not want to spend that. So we're going to make our own. And I also want to make one that's larger than a salad plate because that's just going to be teeny tiny, and we want to be able to display our plate. So what I'm going to use is a charger. I went to Hobby Lobby and I picked up a clear charger with a gold rim around it. These are such a great blank slate, and of course they're a great price as well. Now luckily for us, we do not need to worry about adding a gold rim around the outside of this charger, but what we do need to worry about is the color. Right now it's clear and we need it to be white. So we're going to be using some white gloss Rust-Oleum spray paint. I took my charger outside and I flipped it upside down because we're simply painting the underside. I made sure that the back side of this plate was coated in the spray paint. Once it was completely covered, I let it dry for an hour. So now that it's dry and it's the right color, there is one other gold rim that we need to create on our charger. Do you see how the inside has another gold ring? So we need to do that. And we're going to be using a Dollar Tree paint pen to get that effect. So I took my gold paint pen and I traced out a line right along the inside rim. There's a little ledge, so I was able to easily trace out a circle. I stayed right on the edge and I went all the way around the inside of this plate. And now my double gold lines look just like our inspiration piece. So next we need a Christmas tree that we can put on the inside of our charger. So I just headed over to my Cricut Design Space and I found a very similar Christmas tree. I had my Cricut Maker cut it out on some gold removable vinyl. And then I also need a couple of little teeny tiny red ornaments to go on top of our Christmas tree. So I again had my Cricut Maker cut out some circles. I'm going to weed away the excess vinyl from my Christmas tree. Then I put transfer tape over the top. Then I removed the backing and placed my vinyl Christmas tree in the center of the charger. I pressed it firmly to the charger with my scraper tool, and then I removed the transfer tape, and that tree looks fantastic in the center. It takes up the majority of the space. Next, I weeded away the vinyl from my red ornaments. I put transfer tape over the top, but this time I cut out my little circles individually, and then I placed them in various areas around the Christmas tree. Once all my red ornaments had been placed on the Christmas tree, I removed the transfer tape from the red ornaments. And we're already done. How easy was that? That was such a piece of cake, but look at how beautiful our charger looks. I love the double gold lines that are on the charger, but the Christmas tree in the center really is the standout feature. And I love that it's got little pops of red. Not too much color that it's going to overwhelm our Christmas tree, but just enough to give it a fabulous pop. And our charger is much larger than a salad plate, so that's definitely a bonus. So let's go back and remember how much our Lenox plate was. It was $129.95. But after adding up all the costs that went into creating our charger, the total was We saved ourselves so much money, and to look at how similar they look, we were definitely able to get a very similar look for much, much less. We were able to create so many fabulous dupes today, from our pillow to our floral arrangement to our stunning charger. All of these things were fairly easy to do. They were, of course, affordable and definitely beautiful. I love being able to use expensive Christmas decorations as inspiration and then create my own. That's definitely something that each one of you can do. You can get the look for much less. Just think outside the box and you'll be able to create something magnificent, which proves that you can live beautifully and you can do it during the holiday season. We've got a whole lot of Christmas decorating coming up, so make sure that you're subscribed so you won't miss out on any of those videos. Again, I'm posting on Mondays and Thursdays. That way you have all the inspiration you need to decorate your home. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for watching.